Hello and welcome everyone, it's Blaze with the start of my promised series of Photoshop tutorials. The effect I want to show you today, I like to call it simply refining images. Now, I've done it pretty badly in this example, so ignore the color work. I forgot to adjust something in the hue and saturation sliders, and the outcome is going to look different, definitely. But this is just to show you what it generally is going to do. Split the effect in. As you can see, we brighten up the scenery. We got some nice colors here, and especially check the rocks out. See, get crisp textures. Same on the tree line. In my opinion, this one is way too much saturation. If you like that kind of stuff, though, feel free to adjust it this way. So we're going to start off. I've already opened a new project file for our image. This is the image I used. It's very grayscale-ish in my opinion. The scenery is beautiful, but the colors in the images on the image are just unfitting. I don't like them. So we're gonna fix that today. First thing we did is just opened this image in a new file that shows a resolution of 1920 by 1080. Which is essentially 1080p. I'm gonna grab our original image and press Ctrl and J to duplicate it. Now this is the layer that's gonna do the main part of the color work, so I suggest if you want to spend a lot of time on one layer, then this is the layer you should do it on. I'm gonna press Ctrl and U to bring up the hue and saturation box. Now, as you can see, as we move the saturation slider to the left, we slowly fade into a grayscale-ish image. As we move it to the right, we gain color, brightness, and sort of a vibrance to the entire image. Now, adjust the slider to the value you want. I'm gonna go with, I think 22 looks pretty good, because I don't want to oversaturate the trees here, which we can also fix in just a moment, because we just adjusted the master slider right here. I don't like the blue on these rocks, for example, so I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna click here and choose blues. Then I'm gonna click add to selection, which is this one, or add to sample, and I'm gonna pick the blue from the rocks. As you can see, the sample just adjusted itself. I'm gonna tone down the saturation of these things. Now this will also tone down the sky. This can be prevented by adjusting it further, but to be honest, I think the sky looks good that way. Now the next thing is the yellows. I'll add this one to my sample and this one. I'm gonna tone the saturation just down a little bit. As you can see, looks a lot better already. It doesn't look as over brightened. So if you're happy with your result, remember you can't redo this step. You can't just go back and open this box again. At least I don't think you can. Just click OK and off we go. So as you can see, we already had a huge change. Well, to me it's huge anyways. You see how the shadows were a lot lightened. Now we're gonna build up on that effect. Back to the normal layer, duplicate it again with Ctrl and J, and move this duplicate to the top. Now we're going to go to Filters, Blur, and Gaussian Blur. Blur by an amount you like. Just pick one. I'm going to go with 5 pixels. Feel free to use this one, but I encourage you to experiment. So other amounts might just work better, in fact. I'm going to set this layer to Color Dodge. As you can see, this is going to be an over brightened, over saturated layer. So I'm going to decrease its opacity by moving this slider here. I'm going to go with about 25 looks good. 25% opacity on this one. As you can see, just gained a lot of colors and brightness. But we're not quite done yet. Again, grab your original layer, duplicate it, move the duplicate to the top. Now we're going to apply a filter under the filter tabs an other that is called high pass. What this does essentially works on outlining the edges of everything. The first high pass I'm going to use is going to be at 45 pixels. I'm going to use this one to add some texture to everything, you know, to refine the shadows basically. I'm going to set this one to overlay. Now, on this layer, I want to tone the opacity down just a tad. I'm going to go with 75%. Now, of course, every slider, everything with opacity and colors is adjustable. I really encourage you to try it yourself and get the best results. Now, back again to original layer. Copy it, Ctrl and J, you know the drill by now. Move it to the top. This is going to be our final layer. And it's going to just be the layer that gives this image the last bit of a bump. I'm going to choose a radius of 5 pixels on my high pass. As you can see, this will select most of the outlines, most of the textures, which is exactly what we want. Now we're going to set this layer to overlay. There we go. As you can see, we just gained a lot of texture. Basically, it resharpened the textures. So I'm going to play with the opacity. I think 70% looks good. As you can see, the image looks a lot more crisp, a lot sharper. Now, if I had spent more time on this, of course I would have gotten a better result. That also depends on the image. If the image itself is in a very low quality, the outcome won't be in a extremely high quality either. I've got very lucky with this image. It's a very gorgeous picture, and basically you have the lightning falling in here, and you have grass. Grass is great for hue and saturation adjustments, since, well, everybody likes green grass, don't they? I mean, I do, you should too. If not, there's something wrong with you. The only hard step about this one is the water here, because if you don't adjust the blues, you will have too much of a blue water falling down here. Basically, if you spend more time on this, you can get a much better result than I just did, but I think you now get the general idea of the refining image effect. I hope you liked this tutorial. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, favorite it, you know, it just helps my channel grow really, and with a bigger audience I'm much more motivated to make more tutorials and more videos in general. So this has been Blaze. I hope you learned something. I hope you can apply this effect to your own images. Peace.